All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we are doing banking and lending, looking at SoFi and Rocket. Gotta say, love this movement on the 8, right? That's why I do love the 8 moving average so much, but we'll get to the details shortly. Real quick, what are we gonna do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm stuff. Nonetheless, I sincerely appreciate your time, so let's get into it. Real quick, there's so much technical love happening right here, okay? Just a bunch of things to call out. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and delete these lines. It's been a while since I've redrawn some lines. Honestly, I still like my lines before I already deleted them, but they did line up to the moving averages pretty well, but we will make a couple new ones. So real quick, it kind of starts down here, right? But really, once this thing gets over the 8 and the 20, it's just nothing but good things, right? You break all the lines one at a time. As it goes down, it never loses the 8. It just uses the 8. And then I'm telling you, I've said it often, right? Once you can get over all 5 moving averages, it's a beautiful and a safer trade. I'm telling you, nothing's guaranteed. There's really no such thing as safe trading. But being above all 5 moving average lines really is significantly better than being in between or well under all of them, right? And look, this thing basically went from 6 to 8. That's, I mean, a buck under 50%, right? And just, again, relatively easy trading, nothing but good green, right? So, but where are we now? Look, this is the first day we've actually closed under the 8 in a good while, right? This day we opened under it, but we closed right there. We definitely closed over, and then again, we started here, but we went up, right? So this is the first under the 8 in a while. Look, RSI has been living in this high 80s, almost 90s world, right? So that just says cool off is needed. More than likely, it'll come to the 20. Maybe a couple of these will save it, but I do often say green, 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 green often can turn to red, red, red really quickly, right? So the very, very last thing I want is to lose the 200, okay? We've just beaten it. Let me zoom out a bit. Is this the first time in a good, yes, the first time in a very good while, right? Since December of last year. So I'm glad we broke it. The last thing I want to do is quickly go under it, right? Let's use the 20 and bounce. Super worst case, use the 200 and bounce, right? And I'll draw the line, but yeah, I'm not going to want to go much lower than that. Hopefully that 650 line is where the 20 moving average will come, and then it bounces and goes back up. But again, I do not want to lose the 200. But yeah, it kind of seems like 650 is probably realistic. Let's come to the weekly to see what lines we should draw. I'll use this guy right here, which looks like it'll line up pretty well with that guy. Yeah, I'll take that. Cool. And then yeah, I'll go back to the daily for the next one. Let's see what's up, because we want to be positive. Let's say what happens if things go up, right? I think that's definitely going to be a line, and we wick that right there. So I could definitely see that being a good line right there. Okay, cool. And I think I actually remember having a line up there, give or take, too. But nonetheless, I think this is a pretty good one. And you know what? Let's do one more. Yeah, I mean, this is for sure going to be something. We don't want to look. That hit the top of that, hit the bottom of that. I like that. I think that's a pretty good spacing, because between here and here, there's a bunch of moving averages. By no means should we lose this, right? There's 2 right here. These will probably be running a little parallel together, hopefully upward. But yeah, you don't obviously just don't lose that. So I think that's a pretty good SoFi right there. 650 seems realistic. Let's not lose 650. Otherwise, that's where we're going to start looking at the 200. But one more time, that's a beautiful profit, right? So hopefully you've banked some good stuff. Looking at Rocket, hey, a lot of the same movement, right? And that should make sense, because Rocket and SoFi are 2 you should look at, regardless if you have money in either, right? Because they're both in the same sector. They're both trying to be a little more tech than, brick and mortar Bank of America and Wells Fargo, right? So I do like that they're both doing that same thing, right? Pretty much, not even pretty much, literally just riding the 8 like a beast, never going under, breaking moving averages, and roughly speaking in that same time frame too, right? From early January on. But look, where are we now? We're actually under the 8 for 3 days, right? So we do close under right there. This doji, I often say, is that uncertainty day, right? So maybe it'll go back up. Clearly it does not. Not hard down, but yeah, it seems like, again, we're going to come to this 20 line, excuse me. We haven't used it yet, right? So hopefully the 20 is where we bounce and go back up, but that's a real ugly RSI. That MACD does not look very good, and volume significantly gotten worse. So Rocket seems a little more worrisome than SoFi, in all honesty. However, SoFi kind of has that same setup, right? So maybe Rocket's just a couple days ahead, right? So just something to consider. But again, that same nearly 50% profit, right? This thing went from 7, actually it did make roughly 50%, right? Because 7 plus 3 something is right there at that like 11, right? So a good little 50% move. Hey, I mean, there was plenty of places to bank it, and clearly once you're under the 8, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, right? But good things happen over the 8, bad things happen under, right? Look, I would delete the lines, but in all honesty, these still seem pretty good, and I really could have done that for SoFi as well, but I haven't like made fresh lines in a minute, so that's why I'm doing that there. But look, this weekly was definitely doing really well. It's still early in the week, but actually no, that's not true. It's middle of the week, right? And we're already under most of this candle, right? So hopefully we come back to roughly 50%. I often say, don't lose more than half that green from last week, right? Or half of yesterday, right? So let's hopefully come back up a little bit. But yeah, I think this is saying 860 is a little more realistic, right? We might come down here. Maybe the 8 will come a little higher, and hey, maybe we can bounce around this like 880 number. Let me see what those look like. What are you at? Okay, 830. I know we just said 850, and then where was 880? Yeah. So again, I think I'm not going to draw any new lines. I really don't need to. You know, maybe there's something in the middle of those two right there, 860, right? Because it's kind of the top of this one and this one. Yeah, let's just draw that one. Why not? That's not a bad one. Again, we hit the top of that, and we just kind of said that number on the weekly. So again, if we lose 9, 10, because again, that's the 20 roughly, hopefully we bounce here before. And again, same thing I said with SoFi, right? Don't lose that 200. I'm going to just zoom out. It has to have been, it's actually been longer, man. This thing has been well under the 200. Got close right there, got close right there. This is the first one that went. Don't go real quick under, right? Use it and bounce up. That would be cool for me. But yeah, definitely worse compared to SoFi. So, hey, I hope you're learning. Appreciate your time. And yeah, more videos are coming.